as well. So let's bring Paul Rieckhoff in, the host of the Independent Americans podcast, co-founder of American Veterans for Ukraine. So, all right, we know your thoughts on Hegseth. They've been pretty clear. We've talked about it since his name first came up. But seems like Trump's going to stick with him for a while, or does that change in a hurry? How do you see this playing out? For now. That was exactly our reporting. He has his job is safe for now.
I think he's trying to ride it out, but sloppy and incompetent, I think, has been the issue with Hegseth since before he was even confirmed. This is exactly what we warned about, that he's in over his head, that he's an amateur, he doesn't know how to execute, and the people around him have been much of the same. So he can rail all he wants at the War College about the distractions. The reality is he's the distraction right now, and he's dragging down Trump's agenda. He's distracting from other things they want to do, and we'll see how much of a shelf life he has with Trump. This is far from over, and I think it's far from over especially because he just fired a couple guys that he hand-selected to go in with him, and they're turning on him now. They're writing op-eds against him. They're going on Tucker Carlson, so they're going to keep throwing stuff at him in their plan until he goes down.
Some of them that he's known for years have worked with them way before all of this. Yeah. It's an interesting piece from The Guardian, and just get your take on all of this. People say, why does this matter? Why does this matter so much? And their piece was that their fears are growing, that the signal leaks make Hegseth a top espionage target. Thoughts?
Absolutely true, and absolutely the most important thing we should worry about. Because the key question you should ask is, did you disclose anything that could hurt or kill anyone? Right? Don't get into nuance about classification, whether it was a war plan. If you disclosed anything that violated operational security and could have put someone at risk, then it's wrong. And that's what he did on an unsecured chat. It now appears multiple times. And this is a big issue because not only can journalists look in, the Chinese can look in, the Russians can look in. And let's give you an example. I don't know, maybe if, for example, your bag got stolen, which happened to Kristi Noem when she was having dinner last week.
A lot of cash in the bag.
Cash in there, but if her phone is in there and that's compromised, that's a national security risk. It's more than just parlor politics. It's a real national security risk, and that's why Signalgate is far from over. There should be widespread investigations because I think by the time I come on next week, we'll probably have another example of how he was sloppy and incompetent and violated operational security.
And unrelated, but I couldn't believe Kristi Noem carries all that cash around. There are days when I don't have $10, like a $10 bill. I got to start carrying cash around, I think, is what I have to do, a little bit at least.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it pays well to be in the administration. I don't know where an administration person gets that kind of cash, but they're all sloppy and incompetent, and that's the problem here. You've got her, you've got Kash Patel, you've got Pete Hegseth. They're all boasting and being sloppy, and they have not just their own personal information, but national security secrets at their disposal. That's why the amateur hour issue is going to keep coming up. They've never been at this level. They've never been under the scrutiny, and they've never been targeted to the extent they are right now by our adversaries.
Let's talk Ukraine. Let's change the subject for a minute because there are developments, the war in Ukraine. I want to get your take on all of it. Let me set it up this way. Comments first from Zelensky and then what President Trump is saying. So President Zelensky, number one, because there's been talk about whether he's going to have to give up, especially Crimea. Ukraine does not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. There's nothing to talk about. This is beyond our Constitution. It's our territory. President Trump on social media. Nobody's asking Zelensky to recognize Crimea as Russian territory, but if he wants Crimea, then why didn't he fight for it 11 years ago when it was handed over to Russia without a shot being fired? The area also houses, for many years before the Obama handover, major Russian submarine bases. So, where's all this going?
Nowhere, it looks like. I mean, Trump said we'd have a peace deal in the first, 24 hours, and that doesn't seem to be happening. And also, consistently, Trump seems to align himself with Russia. Saying just give up Crimea would be like saying to America, hey, just give up Texas or just give up Alaska. We wouldn't go for it. We wouldn't give up a piece of our sovereignty. Whether it was taken with a high degree of hostilities or not, they still view it as their land. And they keep talking about what they want Ukraine to give up. What do they want Russia to give up? How about a really simple thing that I've discussed with you before? 19,000 kids that Putin has taken from Ukraine. Let's talk about those kids as much as we talk about Crimea and other occupied territories, because that would be a step toward peace. That would show good faith, and it would mean families, tens of thousands of families that have been adversely affected and are waiting every day for their kids to come home.
I understand and agree, by the way, with just about everything you said there, especially that last part. On the map here, we can put it up on Crimea, on the peninsula itself. Do you think, now realistically, not what you think should happen, that we get through all of this, some sort of a peace negotiation, and Ukraine actually gets that back? or that is the one thing that maybe has to go, and they get the other land that Russia's occupying? How do you actually see it playing? Like analysis rather than what you.
I don't think they. I don't think they will, and I don't think they should ever accept losing a part of their country, right? Because then.
No, I understand the concept. I'm saying then we might be stuck in a stalemate for a long.
But I think it also
time.
opens up aggression. It opens up an invitation for more aggression. It sends a message to Eastern Europe that, you know what, you might have to give up some of your land too. Putin took it by force against the international order, against NATO, against American interests, and we can't reward that bad behavior by saying, you know what, we'll compromise and just give you a piece of their country, and you're not going to give up anything.
So we'll see. If that's the case, then we're going to be here for a while.
I think we are.
Which it looks like what it's going to be. All right, check out Paul's podcast, which, of course, is the Independent American. So Jim Walden's guy running for mayor, right?
He's the only real independent running for mayor. Eric Adams is still a Democrat calling himself an independent, but Jim Walden hasn't gotten a lot of attention. I think he's an important voice to check in on.
We had him on one night here in New York City. All right, Paul, as always, we'll see you next week. Thanks very much for